I'm your host, Cam Wells. In the first segment of our show, I'll be chatting with Alexandra Prefasi and Gareth Scobie. They'll be telling us a little bit about their work with the Asperger's Society. So tell me a little bit about your work with the Asperger's Society.
Sure. Well, I'm the Executive Director here at the Asperger's Society of Ontario, and we are a grassroots society. We were founded in 2000 by parents, along with a small group of professionals who came together at that time to address the lack of services for individuals with Asperger's syndrome and their families across the province. We actually still maintain that grassroots profile, with everyone in our organization being somehow personally touched by Asperger's syndrome. And we're the only nonprofit organization in Ontario that's solely devoted to serving what is actually an ever-growing and desperately underserved population. And we do that through a number of different services, predominantly through our action line, where we help anyone who has a question or a concern or a need relating to Asperger's syndrome. And that action line is accessible by phone or by email. And essentially, we have program specialists that respond to requests for help, and they provide guidance on resources and services that are available across the province. What it really does is it offers a place for people with Asperger's syndrome and their families or those who support them to turn to in a time of need. It's a place where their unique circumstances and needs are understood, and we help connect them to the support that they need as quickly and efficiently as possible. But we also offer a number of other services. We have parenting caregiver support groups. We have an adult social group. Of course, we service the broader community, teachers, employers, public service professionals to try to increase acceptance and understanding of Asperger's syndrome and its related challenges. And I think what makes the work that we do unique is, we really believe in investing our financial resources into service provision. So all of our services are offered free of charge to people across Ontario, and we actually operate virtually so that we don't have office-based expenses. So we have very low overhead and almost no operating costs, which, again, allows us to direct the majority of our funds to really where it's most needed, which is serving people that are affected by Asperger's syndrome and their family.
So we're lucky. We have Gareth on the line, who is one of the supporters of this work. Can you tell me a little bit about your own background, what draws you to the society?
Sure. So I have been participating in various different sort of endurance sports for a little over a decade, and I started sort of trying about 12 years ago to change the way that my life was. I was active in team sports, but I was a smoker, I was slightly overweight, and I wanted to change who I was as an individual. So I took up running, and that led to triathlons. Triathlons led to Ironman triathlons, and Ironman triathlons led to ultramarathoning. And as I was sort of becoming more and more involved in this, while at the same time maintaining a sort of a professional career in the financial services industry here in Toronto, I decided I also wanted to give back a little bit, because I had a good platform. I was traveling around the world. I was living the life I wanted to live, but it seemed to be a wasted opportunity if I had that platform and I didn't use it for sort of better purposes as I saw them. And I was a big believer, and still am, that charity begins at home, that grassroots organizations are really important. So I came across the Asperger's Society at the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon last autumn. And my wife has a work friend whose son has Asperger's syndrome. And so we'd heard about, different bits of sort of provision in terms of healthcare and support. And so we started talking to Alexandra, and it just seemed like a good fit for me to somehow be involved in fundraising as I was pursuing the athletic goals that I wanted to pursue. And so most recently, the cause that we're sort of fundraising, or the event we're fundraising around, is the Marathon Start in Morocco, which is another sort of ultra marathon that's run over a number of days. So that's my background, and it's just, I think, a good fit given what the Asperger's Society does, and what I was looking to get involved with.
So, in terms of both of your experiences with the society, what's been the greatest success that each of you has witnessed?
Well, I can certainly speak to that a little bit. So, we work directly with people who have Asperger's syndrome and their families, and often those people are reaching out to us during a really difficult time. So the real successes for me personally have been when I'm able to find the right support or the right service or the right resource to help someone when they need it most. So hearing a thank you at the end of a really difficult call, or receiving an email from someone who's been able to access the help they need, or even just hearing someone breathe a little more easily on the other end of the line because they have finally reached someone who understands them, their situation, their needs, that for me has been the most rewarding aspect of my job, and it's what drives me to continue doing what we do. And of course, being connected to inspirational people, we have so many supporters, and Gareth is a really great example of one. Being connected to people who believe in what we do and work so hard to find ways to help us and to help us further our mission. That's so inspiring, and I count it as a great success.
So, you had mentioned to me that Gareth is taking on another great challenge in the near future. Can you tell me a little about that?
He is, and I'd love for Gareth. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're tackling in April for us, Gareth?
Sure. So there's an event that takes place every year. It's about 30 years old. And the numbers have swelled from, I think, around about 10 people to now roughly 1,200. And it takes place every April in the southern part of Morocco. And essentially, it's a 250-kilometer foot race through the Sahara Desert. And I actually was fortunate enough to take part in it last year, finished, and stupidly decided that the pain and the suffering wasn't enough, and I wanted to go back and do it again. But this time to obviously do some fundraising. So it basically breaks down as being a marathon a day through the desert for around about 6 days. There is one day in which you are required to do a double marathon, so it's around about 85 kilometers. You have the option of doing that over 2 days or trying to run it in a single shot, because then you may get the second day as a sort of a rest day to recover and then tackle sort of the marathon the next day. And the key with this race that makes it slightly unique is that you are required to carry everything you need for the week with you, with the exception of water. So all of your food, whatever you want to use to sleep, all of that is a self-supported stage race that you carry with you. And it's known in certain circles as the toughest foot race on earth. So, the dropout rate is, proportional to that. The temperatures, the heat, the wind is what makes it such a good challenge to go back to. And there is a lot of, charity organization around it from the international contingent. I found when I was there in April that actually the Canadian charity fundraising effort was quite small compared to other nations. And that was one of the primary drivers for me to sort of want to go back with a Canadian charity and sort of help fundraise and just create awareness for something that's important.
So that sounds like an amazing opportunity to raise awareness for the Asperger's Society. I'd like to thank you both for taking the time out to do this, but if you can stay on the line for a sec, that'd be great.